Thank you for joining me today. I don't know when you'll see this. I don't know when you'll hear this. I hope that your holidays were great. I hope that you made it through. I hope that you survived. I hope that there was some great joy in the middle of a whole lot of uncertainty, confusion, maybe even pain and hurt. And I'm most thankful that you're with me today. Whether you're listening or whether you're watching, I'm just honored that you would take some time to listen to little old me as I try and share some insight from my own journey that I hope and pray helps you. And I was on a plane the other day and I had rushed out the door to make that flight, and I grabbed a book that I had forgotten about. I thought, I'll just read this. It's not a very long flight. Little did I know in that book I would read a few things that would absolutely just center me. And I read this quote. I thought it was perfect for where we're at. The quote is, "The only thing worse than disappointment is disappointment without community." I would add to that, my own little subpoint is, what's worse is disappointment within a community that you thought was going to support you, care for you, love you, and be there for you, and they actually left you for dead. Disappointment is crushing. And when you are in a community, when you think that community is going to support you, and they actually don't just leave you for dead, but sometimes they betray you, that's awful. It hurts. It's wounding. It's like a double betrayal, right? There's a double betrayal where maybe your significant other has had an affair with your best friend, and so there's like a double betrayal there, and that's awful. I've talked about that before. You can find a video on that called The Double Betrayal that I have done a few years ago. Then there's the double betrayal where you feel like, man, your spouse or your significant other betrays you, and then the community, or you betray your spouse, and then the community that you're involved in absolutely disowns you, leaves you for dead, shames you, judges you. If you come from the faith community, they can be awful. If you come from a non-faith community, but some type of support system, they can be awful. And they can just leave you for dead and be like, oh no, I can't, we can't help you. This is too much, and you should have never done this, and we agreed to never do this type of thing, so you're out. And we, whether unfaithful or betrayed, because this happens to betrayed, I would say just as much as unfaithful, because people don't know how to handle a betrayed spouse or partner. They just kind of say, well, I'll pray for you, or I'll be thinking about you, but they don't know how to help. So they leave you and just kind of disappear. And you feel like, my life has just been altered in a negative way, and I've got nobody around me. Quite frankly, isolation sucks. Isolation is awful, but then to be isolated when you're going through a life crisis of this magnitude is terrible. And isolation affects us a few different ways. I'll take a break right here and tell you one of the key components that we do at affairrecovery.com. I hope that you'll go there after this video and read about some of the community opportunities that we have for you. One of our key principles is to support you in crisis, to bring a group of other people around you to not commiserate and not just attack you or attack your spouse or partner for what they've done, but support you, care for you. You'll find the right community with the right people and the right curriculum to be life-changing. It will absolutely bring healing and help and support to you in ways that there's no way just one therapist or mentor can give you what a group of people aligned in priorities to help and support and rally around you, fueled by an expert curriculum, can do. And you'll find groups like that at affairrecovery.com. I hope that you will go and at least check them out. Groups can be intimidating. I totally get it. They can be scary. It's like, man, do I just want to be with a group of strangers and talk about the worst pain of my life? Yes, you do. Because there's a group leader. There's a support system to help you not feel so alone. Here's a few things that isolation does, because if you're struggling with isolation and feeling like you've just been isolated on an island out in the middle of nowhere, or a desert on the backside of humanity trying to make sense of this, isolation can play some tricks on you. Number one, we see our situation as the worst. We feel like, man, nobody's as bad as me. Nobody's as bad as our situation. I'm the worst. I'm so unique and I'm so much of a mess and nobody's ever felt this before. And I can tell you that's not the case. When you get into community, you'll realize, I'm not the worst. I'm not the best. I'm kind of just like other people that are struggling, and you start to see things differently. You start to not feed everything through your own filter. Because as long as you see everything through your own filter, you have a very limited awareness and understanding of how to heal, how you can be healed, how this could ever work out for good, how you could ever change, how your partner could ever change. You have very limited vision. And at some level, we think we know everything as adults in humanity in this day and age, and you don't. I don't. And so when you can get into a safe community, you start to see things far differently. Next, when you're in isolation, you grow weary. You just don't have anybody supporting you. You don't have anybody encouraging you. You don't have anybody challenging you, saying, hey, maybe that's not the way things are going to go. Or maybe that wasn't the best course of action. When you are isolated, you don't have anybody there to support you, to encourage you, to maybe correct you and adjust you and say, hey, Sam, maybe you're not seeing it this way. Have you ever thought of this? And you go, ugh. And then somebody else goes, well, maybe that person's right. Have you looked at it this way? And you go, okay. And that's community. It helps you see things you can't see on your own. And it helps you not grow so weary. It helps you begin to see things in a far different light where you can keep going and realize, man, I don't have to throw in the towel. Maybe there is hope. Next, when you're isolated, it's very easy to give in to pity and feeling sorry for yourself, especially if you are an unfaithful. But also if you're a betrayed, there's a point where you're just like, why try? Why do any work? Why even give it a shot? It's just going to be terrible. And you don't have somebody there to say, hold on, wait a minute. Let me tell you my story. Let me show you some stories. Let me point you in a direction of where I have found hope. Next is we just oftentimes want to give up. We don't have anybody there saying, come on, keep going. You can do this. You're going to get through it. You don't have anybody there supporting you, patting you on the butt, or maybe even grabbing you going, hey, there's too much at stake for you to give up right now. There's too much at stake for you to throw in the towel. Or you don't have somebody going, man, I suck today. And you kind of go, oh, somebody else sucks today. Let's suck together. Let's be buddies. Let's help each other. Let's strengthen each other. Yeah, we can feel pity for a moment. Okay, this sucks. That's terrible. Great. Okay, now let's get back up and let's get after it. You see, when you're in isolation, it's hard to stir up your own courage, your own fortitude. It's very easy to grow weary, depressed, hopeless. The right community will strengthen you and support you. Finally, when you're in community, some things get normalized for you. There's several moments where you'll say, wait, what? It's normal to feel that? It's normal to sense that? It's normal to have that happen? This is normal? Really? Whew, I feel so much better. I didn't think that was normal. I thought that was just me. And there's a feeling of comfort and safety. And when you're in a group situation, you grow quicker. You heal quicker. There's an acceleration to the healing components. There's a deceleration to discouragement and hopelessness and despair. It doesn't mean that community fixes everything. It just accelerates your healing. It accelerates the good. And it helps you begin to kind of gain courage to just keep going regardless of what's going to happen in your situation. You feel a support system there. And I know, man, my final thought for you is, listen, groups can be terrifying. I totally get it. You can reach out here to me on any platform that you're watching or listening. I can send you some links, or one of the staff will send you links to our groups. Look at them. Read the testimonies. There's other groups out there. This isn't just a pitch to join a fair recovery. I hope that you will. But there's other groups out there that can support you as well, that can be safe. You need a safe group that isn't going to shame you, that you won't be the worst situation. And I can tell you, oftentimes we who are trying to heal from infidelity or addiction join these other kind of groups that we're oftentimes the worst. That's not what you need. You need an infidelity-specific group that can support you, care for you, love you, and provide a framework for your healing. I know this is awful. I know this is a journey you just didn't want to sign up for, and you found yourself kind of dropped out of a plane at 10,000 miles per hour and no parachute. I just want to help you find some ground today. I want to help you find a place to land and tell you you're not alone. You don't have to be alone. I hope that you will reach out. I hope that you will find help and support, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're going through. You can do this, I promise you.